I believe in the sun. I believe in the risen one.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to Tuesday and another day of almost daily meditation. I hope you're doing well and hope that your week is off to a good start, whatever it is that you might be doing or places that you're going. I, a couple of weeks ago, talked a little bit about, or maybe it was last week, talked about the gift of imperfection. And that is to think about how we're not really called to be perfect, and sometimes the world expects that of us. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have high standards or you don't have goals or you don't want to do things well. That's not what I mean, but that reaching some kind of unobtainable perfection that's either driven by things that are external from us, in other words, expectations from other people or expectations we perceive, or those things that are, sort of internally driven that make us strive for something that is that kind of unobtainable perfection. There is a sense of, when do we think of ourselves as enough as God has created us, as enough as who we are. Again, that doesn't mean we don't continue to try to improve. It doesn't mean we don't continue to try to learn things or to be open to the different realities in life. That's not what I'm saying at all. But part of it is that sort of internal gauge that you are, as who you are right now, as God created you, enough. In other words, you are beautiful. You are God's creation. You are amazing. You are gifted. In all kinds of different ways. Richard Rohr writes, "There is nothing to prove and nothing to protect. I am who I am, and it's enough." So part of my question for you today is, have you gotten to this point where you could say something like what Richard Rohr says, that there's nothing to prove and nothing to protect. I am who I am, and it's enough of who I am. That's an interesting position, right, to think of yourself in. I am in my early 50s, and so a lot of my friends are turning 50 or have turned 50, and it's kind of funny what an earmark that is. And I don't know about you, but I kind of remember 30 was like a big deal for me. Like 30, I felt like I had kind of arrived into my adult years. I certainly was an adult in my 20s, but at 30, I had my career. I'd finished my schooling. I was on a path, and I had all this stuff I wanted to get done and do, and so that was kind of a big decade for me. 50 kind of came and went. I didn't think about it as much, but a lot of my friends are saying stuff like what Richard Rohr is, and talking about what it means to sort of not have things to prove anymore, or to not necessarily feel like you have to protect everything, and just being who they are, and in some ways letting go of some of that earlier drive that might have been there, or need to prove themselves or to protect something. Part of the reason I ask that question is, what kind of spiritual energy do we have? If we're in a position where we understand that we are enough as a person, and who we are is enough, and what does that free us to become? What does that free us to become in God's economy, in God's world, in God's kingdom, as living into our true gifts, right? Because the question is, who are we proving things to? Who are we protecting things from? And what does that drive? Why does that drive us? Again, that's sort of same sort of perfection, that same sort of perfection drive, that same sort of, all of those different things. But it is beginning to understand the beauty of what God has done in our life, and who we are, and that you are enough as the person that you are today, and the person that you continue to become. Just some thoughts for today, and so it might be kind of worth asking a question is, do you see yourself as being enough as God sees you as being enough? Hope you have a great day. God bless, and hope to see you tomorrow.
I believe in the sun. I believe in the risen one. I believe, I hope, by the power of his blood. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. Amen. Let my song join the one that never ends because he lives. I was dead in the grave. I was covered in sin and shame. I heard mercy call my name. He rolled the stone away. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. Amen. Let my song join the one that never ends because he lives. I can face tomorrow because he lives. Every fear is gone. I know he holds my life, my future in his hands. Amen.